Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Romulo Vega.
Romulo Vega, like many others, picked up a new hobby during the pandemic. He started his own podcast, Quest for Fire, in April of 2020.
This past Monday, there was a hearing on LB 241, which is for meat packing plant worker protections during COVID-19.
Through his podcast, another interest sparked.
The issue with the meatpacking plant worker safety really came about with it was actually my second and third episodes. With the onset of COVID, I saw a couple of friends from different communities post on social media about their concerns that their parents were not being properly protected.
Nebraska and Iowa's meatpacking plants have been devastated by the virus outbreak. According to Senator Tony Vargas, nearly 7,000 workers in processing plants in Nebraska have been infected, and nearly 27 have died.
First off, there's a lot of fear in the packing plant worker, the workforce itself, a lot of fear of retaliation if they sound an alarm that maybe if safety is not being properly met. There were suggestions given and guidelines given by leadership, but there's no enforcement mechanism. So largely, companies will self-regulate, and there's that disconnect between what folks say in the community versus what the employers are saying they are doing.
Vega is now heavily involved with organizations like Solidarity with Packing Plant Workers, whose mission is to raise the volume on the issue that there's still a lack of transparency from large companies.
There's members from all across the state, communities like Lexington, Grand Island, Crete, and then there's another group called Children of Smithfield, which largely emerged from the Crete area. But really, it was just that coalition of these sons and daughters of the packing plant workers and them realizing, hey, this isn't happening in a silo. There are other communities where the workers are still at risk of being infected, and there's that lack of transparency.
I've lost my father to this, and I put up a really good face about this because I think the public expects us to be both vulnerable and strong in periods like this.
Senator Vargas has introduced a bill that demands for better protection for Nebraskans meatpacking workers, including forcing employers to provide workers with paid sick leave and clean personal protective equipment, which Vega supports, and has even attended caravan rallies and legislative hearings.
There's a lot of lessons from 2020 and even right now that we're really going to have to reflect on as a society and as a state. But to do nothing for this workforce, the packing plant workforce, to me would be one of the greatest tragedies that we as Nebraskans could ever commit.
That's why he's encouraging the community to recognize the people working in those plants later this month.
On March 20th, I believe the governor is doing a meat on the menu event, which is a celebration of meat, right? And that's fantastic. I would hope that in addition to celebrating, beef and meat, we would also celebrate the essential workers, the meat packing plant workers. So with that said, I invite all Nebraskans to, as you're grilling your steaks and everything, also think about the safety of these workers. Think about legislation such as LB 241 to give them those basic, common sense, reasonable protections so that way they can continue to provide the food that we all benefit from.
Maya Signs, 3 News.